Hi, this is Alan Gibbs again, and welcome to my podcast, Christ Matters. I hope you enjoyed the poem in episode 2, and as I stated in my introduction, as I embark on this new venture as part of my spiritual journey thus far, I would like to take you back to the beginning of this journey 7 years ago. My first journal entry was dated the 30th of March 2015, some 8 weeks after my mother passed away. For the 2 years prior to her death, she had been a prisoner in her own body due to stroke, and although she retained her mental faculties, her body was totally useless to her, and she remained bedridden in a nursing home during this time. It had always been a fear of hers that if she ever went into a home, she would be left feeling lonely and forgotten about, a situation I have witnessed so many times in my own capacity as a volunteer in the same nursing home my mother resided at, but more details on that later. To try to allay her fears in this respect, I made it a point, 9 times out of 10, to visit her every day at the end of my working day, even if only for an hour, and I would also spend a substantial part of each weekend by her side, to the detriment of my own marriage and raising my levels of stress and emotional sanity to an almost unbearable pressure. I have to thank my wife for being such a kind and loving individual to have endured this time. Because of this commitment, she became an even larger part of my life than before. And when she eventually passed away in early 2015, I think the reality devastated me so much, even to the extent that I almost wished that I had died before her to save me from the anguish and pain of losing her. During the planning of the funeral, my brother, who has been a Christian for many years, drove from his home in Preston, Lancashire to assist me with all the administration and paraphernalia surrounding someone's death. My son also travelled down from Yorkshire to assist too, and I was so thankful to both of them, as well as my wife of course, for their unwavering support at such a sad time. My brother also arranged for his local pastor in Preston to travel down and officiate at the funeral, which was to take place some 2 weeks later. He said that he felt it would help bolster his capacity for dealing with the day if the service were led by a familiar and trusted servant of the Lord. So the day came and went, and after everyone had gone home, despite still being surrounded by my wife and many other friends and family, it felt really lonely. And here I was, asking the same questions all over again that I had asked so many other times previously, when first my father, then my eldest brother, and then my sister had all passed away. That is, what is the point of life? If you're born, you live a little, and then you die. Surely there must be a meaning and a purpose to life, but what was it, and how do you obtain it? It was these thoughts which started me upon my quest, a quest for answers which very quickly led me to Christianity. But I'm going to continue this further in my next episode next week. In the meantime, I have also added a further poem, which deals with the grief that almost always accompanies a bereavement. I was inspired to write it during a course I attended on listening skills at Derriford Hospital Chaplaincy Department, several months after my mother's death, when I was looking at taking up the role of a pastoral visitor in a care home, the one where my mother had resided, but more on all that later. It's entitled A Grief Encounter, and I hope you enjoy it. We've all experienced some loss in our lives, but the grief that accompanies it often belies strong emotions held captive, unable to flee, minds and thoughts in a place we don't want to be. Anger and guilt, alone and sad too. Self-pity, why me, to name but a few. Dark clouds hide the sun and block out the light. Don't know where to turn, we tremble with fright. What's life all about? Is it worth going on? What future have I now my loved one has gone? Some question themselves, their beliefs, what they trust. For some there's a journey, and travel they must. A journey to try to make sense of all this, to unravel life's mystery and clear this grey mist. To see their lives differently, mortality too. To help deal with their grief from a different view. Armed with memories cherished and reflections of laughter, we cope and move forward, pain diminished hereafter. But sometimes a catalyst to our subconscious will trigger remembrance of grief, and our thoughts may transfigure. And but for a while we let go of the smile and remember just how we still feel about the loss of our loved one, the going down of a bright sun, as we revisit dark emotions so real. There are no restraints as to how long this lasts. At some point we walk from the shadow it casts, and time's a great healer for those who are left. It lightens the load of a heart that's bereft. So I leave you a thought. It's okay to cry, or be angry, or feel guilt, or still wonder why. As we remember the past, sometimes only brief, we reflect on our personal encounter with grief. Thank you so much for joining me once more, and I look forward to the next episode when I will reveal a bit more of the spiritual aspect of this journey and the overwhelming sense I received of a relationship with the living God, our Saviour Jesus Christ. God bless to you all.